Hey guys, we're here. We're going to do our very first demo with you with the lovely and beautiful Sarah. We wanted to talk to you a little bit about the pre-session consult like we talked about before. We wanted to talk about her style, what her 3 words were. And her 3 words were fun, empowered, and sexy. So we really wanted to play with that because Sarah is someone who has come here before. She really wanted to try something completely different and really fun. So we talked about doing something a little outside the box, maybe go to a slightly different era. So you can see behind me here, we have a really roaring 20s vintage kind of set, which is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to try some of the more sexy poses. We're going to go with some really beautiful lines of her and really work with those 3 words, the fun, empowered, and sexy. The FES, fun, empowered, sexy. So let's bring on the gorgeous Sarah. She's going to strut here on set. Here she is. Isn't she gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous?
Hello.
Hello. I want to talk a little bit about our styling because we wanted to match our styling and our set design with her outfit. So while Sarah looks gorgeous in just about anything you put her in, we wanted to really kind of amp her up and have her fit to the era that we have here. So what we have here, this is a wig that she has on that Susan had that I cut. It's kind of a hack job, but it looks good. This gorgeous headband that kind of works as kind of that vintage style. And then we have a bustier and some really sexy outfit here. And then, of course, we have, what is this, 1930s vintage?
1930s ostrich feather robe.
1930s ostrich feather robe. So we're right on track with our, look at this. I mean, come on. She's just ready for the speaking. She's ready for her close-up. Let's go ahead and get this party started, shall we? I'm going to mirror the pose for you.
Okay.
And for you guys, so you know, I always mirror pose for the client, so she kind of knows what I'm expecting her to do. I'm not going to give her specific, you got to do this, got to do that. I want you to feel. Because when you step on set, are you in the mode? Are you?
I am.
You are.
I am. I'm ready to have fun.
Yeah. So when you first put on this outfit, what happened to you?
I got into character immediately.
Yeah. So I'm telling you that the outfit and the styling really plays into the feel. I saw a change in her immediately when she put this whole ensemble together, and she just was playing up that diva, and I could just feel it from her. Look. So this is fabulous. So go ahead, and we're going to definitely utilize this chair. Put your hand back there. Gorgeous. Love it. And then we're going to bend that front leg. Yes, and yes. So I want you guys to see that I have 2 lights here. I have an overhead light here that's kind of shining some light on set. And then I have a gridded light here that is giving some light and direction onto her face. We are also in Susan's sunroom. So we have beautiful window light here, sun coming in. So we have that light coming in as well. But this light is just going to give that little extra dimension. So I'm going to play with it a little bit. Make sure I'm getting it on her face where I want it. And then I'm going to get my camera going. Gorgeous. Love it. Let it pull down. Beautiful. Hold it. Turn your shoulders to me just a little bit. Yes. Nose this way just a little bit more. Yes. Right there. Hold. Just love it. Your mouth just open. Just. Wait, stop for a sec. Photographing Sarah. She's been behind camera before. Not all your clients are going to be quite that easy to photograph, but some will. So my suggestion to you is if you do have someone who is comfortable in her skin and comfortable in front of the camera, let her go. Let her go do this beautiful flow posing for you and just capture that moment. Just go for it. All right, Miss Sarah, you're looking fabulous. Here, hold. Switch the weight of your feet. Yes. Okay, guys, I wanted to give you a little more behind the scenes of how I'm getting this shot, a little bit about my lighting, because I think it's really important, especially for new photographers, to really understand how to light properly. So what I have here is, you can't see, which is camera right a little bit. I have a constant light all the way up, a big strip without a grid, just giving some fill light. I'm considering this my fill, and it's just filling in some of the shadowy areas that might be on set. Okay, so that's really my fill. I have a light here, which is my key light. It is another long strip box, which I really do enjoy shooting with because they're going to give head to toe kind of lighting. I like utilizing a grid because grid gives you a direction of light. When you take the grid off, the light will kind of spread out a little bit, which is good if what you're trying to accomplish is a fill situation, which is why the strip above us does not have the grid. The strip to camera right here, which is going to illuminate the mask of her face, I want to have that on a grid because I want to have a direction of that light. And as we were mentioning, as we were talking about lighting in our previous modules, I'm always moving this key light around. If I'm moving the subject around, I'm going to move my key light around because I do want to illuminate the mask of the face. So let's talk a little bit about posing. You saw how Sarah can flow pose beautifully and naturally. It's our job as the photographer and the director to help your client get through the posing part. So what I'm looking for is a nice line of the body. Sarah has a natural inclination. She's a dancer. She's well aware of her body and how her body is creating lines. I'm going to show you what not to do, and we're going to show you how to correct that because not everyone is going to be a beautiful dancer like Sarah. So if Sarah comes on set, and this is what we get, she is shoulder down, her hand looks awkward, and her legs are just how they came on set, right? So you can tell by looking at her, this is not a really a feminine form or shape. We can do better than this. So what I'm going to have Sarah do is change the weight of her feet. So this line here, you see now we have an S curve forming with her body. I'm going to have this hand come a little closer to her body here. Yes. And a soft hand. The shoulder has come down just a little bit. And you see now when we bring the shoulder down like this, we elongate the neck. Always want to elongate the neck. When we go like this, sometimes I'll have them roll for a flirt, but I never want this. This is not good. We want to have a nice long neck. See how we've lengthened the neck here, okay? Now, Sarah, bring your face around to us just a little bit here. A little bit more, a little bit more. Okay. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the other hand, the hand that's on the other side. When it's hidden like this, you can't see it. I like to see that hand, so I'm going to have her bring that hand up by her neck here. See this? I want to talk a little bit about the softness of the hand. A lot of clients hold tension in hands, and a lot of times they're like claws. So we have to, sometimes I'll even have them just shake it out. Shake it out. We're lucky with Sarah. Sarah's a dancer. She has ballet hands. Always pay attention to the ballet hands and where they're placed. And make sure, I always have the client, and I'm sure Susan does too, do beautiful manicures and pedicures, want to have pretty fingers and nails, always important to a sexy boudoir shoot. So you see how Sarah is playing with her hair, with the feathers, softly, just very, when I talk to clients, I say, pretend it's slow motion. I don't want you to herky-jerky do something. If I ask you to change the position of your hand, or if I ask you to move your shoulders around to me a little bit, you see how soft and slow that is. Now do a herky-jerky on that. Just go. See? That's not good. Always have your client be in this just state of slow motion and soft and very, very quiet movements, because that way they don't think so much about placement or what she should be doing. She gets out of her head and just into the feel of the shot. So that is really what we're after here. Now, when I'm doing a shot like this, where I'm having the client utilizing the prop like this with her hand on the chair, and I'm going to get full length, I want to get the full length of her body. And then I'll come in close and I'll get 3/4 of her body, and I'll kind of come in right about here in my crop shot. And then I'll come in close and I'll get a close-up shot. Now you've got 3 saleable shots with one pose. I always try and get as much angle and variety of a position before I have the client change her particular position, because it's much easier for us to move around the client than it is for her to continue to move for us. Another thing I want to share with you about posing and positioning your client is do your best to use your words to explain or to mirror what it is you'd like your client to do. Please don't go in and just manhandle them. That is very off-putting, and it's not going to put your client in a feel safe. She's going to feel threatened a little bit when you come in that close. If you do feel that the client is not taking the direction as you like, Sarah, go ahead and put your shoulder up again, and she's just not getting your instruction. I'll just come in lightly and say, we're just going to take the shoulder down just a little bit. Thank you very much. You see, you don't come in and manhandle and pull. Okay, and when you do that, then we get her position, bring your shoulders around to us. You see how I'm using my hands to give her kind of that feel of what I'm asking her to do. And I'll ask her the back shoulder, turn around and rotate towards me. That's going to help her understand, okay, that's what I need to do. Now, does everybody get that? No, but you can try. Utilize your words as best you can, and that way, hopefully your client will be able to receive your instruction and you won't have to go in and actually touch them. So we've done a lot with Sarah standing. Now I would like to do some with Sarah on the chair. So I'm going to have this. So I'm going to have it move this way. And the reason I'm moving the chair this way, move it in just a little bit here, is I do like to utilize the light that we have coming in from the windows here. And because of that, I'm going to place her face. Now we're going to go the other way, sweetie. We're going to be on our knees here.
Okay.
Kind of have your knees over here for me. Okay. Good. Yes. And we're just going to do a little bit of a sit and reach down to your, actually, I'm going to, yes. It's a slider. Actually, a little bit up if you can. It's just going to be a little bit like this. Yes. Okay. So I had this light set like this, which I absolutely love. And she's getting light from this angle, and she's getting light here. And what is happening is it's a beautiful light. It's a very flat light, which can be really lovely too. But sometimes I want to add a little more dimensionality. So I'm going to take this light and bring it around over here just to give a little pop of highlight. And we're going to work with some shadow on the other side. I'm going to do the V flat on the other side with the dark side.
Do you want me to flip the V flat?
Yeah, if you would. So what we're doing now is, because I want to add a little more dimensionality to the shot, we have a V flat that has a black side and a white side in the 4x8 thick poster board. If you guys, we talked a little bit about V flats before. We send you guys a link as to where you can get these in New York. In Florida, there's a place where you can get them too. So what the black side of the V flat is going to do is going to draw shadow. So I want to have some dimension and shadow. So let me position where I want it. Okay. Sarah, lovely. Give me a little sit. There you go. Turn your face a little bit this way. Beautiful. Nose this way a little bit. Beautiful, love. There. Gorgeous. Now, I'm going to be able to show you guys the difference between these two. And what I have done is I've just created some shadow on her face. Sarah. Yes, bring that diva back. I want her back. There she is. There she is. Now, remember I was talking about the shoulder. We're not going to bring it up. We're just going to roll it forward. Yes. I would like to take the feathers off. Yes. Just going to roll it a little bit forward. Yes. And have that hand right between the girls here. Yes. Beautiful love. Yes. Hold this right there. Now look down your shoulder line here. Yes. Hold. Yes. Hold that just for a couple seconds. Hold. And then 1, 2, 3, open eyes. 1, 2, 3, open your eyes. Do it again. Really slowly open your eyes. 1, 2, 3, open. Yes. Now there's a little trick for you. One of the things I do like to do is to have the closed eye shot. It still showcases connection with the client, but it kind of makes you think about, what is she thinking right now? It's very intriguing to have a closed eye shot. They're always very saleable. So when she has her eyes closed, I like to have them give a little peek. So instead of open eyes, I say, I'm going to ask you to open your eyes really slowly. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and they'll open their eyes. And you saw the difference between just open eyes, when they open the eyes, and just slowly opening the eyes. So there's just some more of a sensuality that comes forward when you ask your client to do that. Beautiful. Let me get a couple here. And you see how Sarah has crossed her ankles here? I didn't ask her to do that, but she did. By doing so, she's giving us a really nice line of her legs. So that's exactly why I would ask her to do that. And you can see the heel of the shoe, which I also like to get into the shot. So, and also what this does, you see here how this is giving her hip a little bit of a pop here, and it's giving this really beautiful shape to her body. Excellent. Let's get a couple shots here. Beautiful, Sarah. Love it. Yes, hold. A couple words about working with a client who is adept at flow posing. I've worked with a few, like Sarah, and while it's a really beautiful thing if they can flow pose, sometimes they move too quickly. So what I ask them to do is hold. That's my word. I don't know why I say it. It's something I just want them to stop what they're doing. Just hold it for a few seconds so I can get the shot. Because you're watching them, you think, oh my God, that's so great, that's so great. Oh, it's gone. So I just ask them to just, oh, that's great, hold for a few seconds, and then they can continue to flow pose. I just want to share that with you guys. Okay, let's kind of change it up a little bit. And I'm going to have you on the flocati on the floor with your legs up onto the chair.
Okay.
So I'm going to have you down on the floor like this. Okay. And then you're going to have your feet up on there, and then you're going to be in kind of a bicycle pose. So the front leg is going to be bent and rolled. Other leg up. Roll it just a little bit. Yes. Other leg up a little higher. Let me get you. Okay.
Should you go straight?
Scoot your bum just a little bit closer to the chair. Oops, it's older. Okay. And you turn your face a little bit more this way, yes. I am modifying my light a little bit because now the client is down on the floor. So the big strip that I have here, this is my key light. I have angled down so that it's going to shed some light on her face. The other thing that I do here is, and Sarah's naturally done it, of course, she turned her face to the light to camera, which is beautiful. I'm going to have your right hand on your thigh. A little bit, make that elbow bend just a little bit more. Perfect. Let's have the other hand come up between the girls. Beautiful. Now bring the hand down just a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower, a little bit lower. Perfect. Right about there. Gorgeous. And what did I do with my camera? Okay. So for you guys curious about my settings, when I am shooting natural light, ambient light, I am additive lighting with my constant light. It's still fairly low. So, I mean, it's not a bright light, which that means my ISO is going to be a little bit higher. So I am at ISO 500. I am at a shutter speed of 1/25. I like 1/25. It's a good speed for me. It works for me. I can capture motion. I don't get a lot of blur. And then I have it I like it wide open. When I like to shoot for that ethereal look, I like it to be wide open. I'm at 2.8. I look for focal point, eye closest to camera, always, for me. That's kind of my style, what I like to do for my ethereal look. So if you guys are interested in that, that's just what I told you. All right, Sarah, perfect. Love it. I'm going to shoot here. All right. The other thing I want to share with you guys is that while I do like to shoot down, you got to get down on the floor, people. Whoever said that this wasn't a physical type of job was wrong. I'm up and down off and up the floor, on and off the floor all the time. So either I am positioning and I'm mirroring a pose on the floor, or when I'm actually needing to take the shot like I'm going to do right now, I'm going to be on the floor shooting. So here we go. Excellent, Sarah. Beautiful. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Now your left foot, let's just kind of make it straighter. Just straighten out, bring it a little bit closer to you. Straighten that leg. Yeah, just bring it a little closer to you.
What do you mean?
Bring your knee closer to you.
Bring the knee closer.
And then make the leg straight. Straighten it up. Let's bring that other leg up too. Bend that knee. There it is. Bring it a little bit lower. A little bit lower. Love that. Okay. Love. Little smile. Yes. There we go. Love it. Perfect. Excellent. Okay. Now we're going to do a little more on the floor. Since we have her on the floor, whenever you're doing posing, either standing up or on the floor, never go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If you're going to do posing, standing, do everything you kind of can think of while she's standing. And when you're on the floor, do everything you can think of when you're on the floor. Okay, so we're going to change position now, Sarah. You're going to be looking at me here. Excellent. Eyes closed. Beautiful. Hold that. A smile. Deep smile. There you go. I'm going to have you do that trick. You're going to slowly open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Yes. Gorgeous. Always ask your client to just give a tiny little smile. They always want to know, well, what kind of expression do I need to have? Is it a smile? Is it not smile? Here's the thing about that. There are some women who just naturally are smiley, and you don't want to close that down if that's their personality. So it's cool if they want to smile, as long as they have the mood and the expression in their face, in their eyes. Now, someone like a Sarah can actually smile with the ends of the mouth going up. It's a no-teeth smile, which is very sensual, very beautiful. Sometimes when you have a woman not smile, the ends of the mouth go down, and that is not an attractive look, and it looks sad. We don't want them to look sad. Like this, Sarah. Gorgeous. Okay, bring my hand around to the back side of your bum. Just a little bit more. Yes, right there. Gorgeous. Right there. Hold that. Give me that look. Fabulous. Chin up for me. Oh, yeah. Love it. So you see how I'm moving all around her, trying to get all the different angles of Sarah that we have. When you're shooting, when you want to have a nice range of shots, please pay attention to what you have on either side, because those are the things you're going to have to edit out later. So as I was shooting, I noticed that there's some cords in this side there. Much easier for you to take care of it before the client gets there. Make sure everything is cleaned out so you don't have to worry about that later. Because when you're shooting and you're working with a client, you're really working on her expression, her position, her posing. You don't want to have to worry about all the things in the background that you need to take care of later. So just make sure, prepare your set in advance. Okay, guys, we're going to show you another repositioning of a pose that is a very common mistake. So I'm going to get Sarah into position, and then we're going to show you the right way to do it and how we can improve upon it. So Sarah, let's have you go ahead and flip over on your tummy. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and push up with your elbows, and you're going to cross your feet here. Bring your feet up, bend your knees, and cross your feet. Okay. So, firstly, let's work the hands a little bit. So let's take the hands and bring them side by side here. Beautiful. Love that. Love it. Okay. The thing that I really want you guys to pay attention to, of course, the hands. Always bring the hands closer into the body. It just makes it a much more cleaner line. The other thing we're going to talk about now is what Susan lovingly refers to as duck feet. You see, her feet are not pointed. The toes aren't pointed, and because of that, the feet look flat and unattractive. The line is broken. So what we want to do is have you point your toes. And you see how immediately we have a beautiful line coming up from her knees all the way through to her toes. So we want to be sure that when you have your client in this position that you ask her to point her toes. Now, I will tell you that Sarah knows how to point her toes. She's a dancer. I'm telling you that not everybody knows that. I've encountered a couple clients who we just say, point your toes. They think they're already doing it, and it's still duck feet. So you may have to go in and just give them, this is what I'm talking about, and push the toe up, and then that is what we're talking about. Okay, let's get a couple shots of this because it's so fabulous. All right, Sarah, love. The lines of the mouth go up. Beautiful. What I like to tell my clients sometimes is that you have a little secret. So if you tell them you got a little secret, look what happens. Got a little secret. Love it. Nose up just a little bit for me. Yes. Gorgeous. I wanted to do a little recap for you guys about the 3 words that we were talking about in previous modules and the 4 tools that we have as photographers. So let's recap of what those tools are. Number 1 is set design. Number 2 is the styling that we can utilize on set. The 3rd tool that we have as a photographer and a director is posing. And then the 4th tool that we have to create the magic is lighting. So those are the 4 tools that we have that we can utilize to create the mood and the feel of the set. And we utilize those 4 tools with the 3 words that the client has come up with. And the gorgeous Sarah here has come up with her 3 words, which are fun, empowered, and sexy. We lovingly recall that as fess. It's a good one. I like that one. Fess. Just fess it right up. So let's talk about how we incorporated those 3 words into all 4 of those tools that we have. So let's talk about the fun part in the set design. When we were talking with Sarah, kind of coming up and conceptualizing some ideas, we had the idea of doing a Roaring 20s set, and she felt that was so much fun. Gosh, Sarah is always up for fun things, so we decided we would just go with that because we knew that she could totally rock it. So that was that fun element that we put into the set design. And I want to talk a little bit about the set design and how we created it so you guys can understand how it's put together, because you don't just walk into a room and this appears. So the way I like to do set design is layering. So we'll start with some elements and then we'll layer and layer and layer. And sometimes I'll tell you that I don't always start from the beginning. I'm a start from the middle and work forward from there kind of person. But however you guys do it, it's totally cool. There's no right or wrong. So the element that I started with was this piece here, which is the model of a dressmaker model kind of thing. And then I wanted to put on there something that was a little vintage styled. So we added the element of the boa, we added the element of the pearls, and then we found this really cool fringe element too, and that kind of added to the style of the vintage era of the Roaring 20s. And then I saw Susan have this really cool caplet things. We're going to utilize that too. I think that will really work with the colors on set, because you have to take into consideration what is your color harmony that you're kind of working with. And I wanted to look vintage. I wanted it to have more of an ivory, gray, that kind of a feel to it. So I went with that. This was the first element. And then I wanted to incorporate some flowers, because I always like to incorporate some flowers on my set. So we have these lovely silk flowers that Susan had here. And then this is just an apple box, the regular apple boxes that everyone has now. with just a draper fabric on top of that. That kind of looks a little drapey and kind of gives more of that fringe look to the set. And then Susan had this amazing room divider that has these Art Deco kind of styled women on it, and I thought that would be perfect for this particular set. So we put that on set, and I knew I needed some more layers on top of that. So we found some fabric. And we found some fabric here. Again, we're going to go the grays and the ivories, grays and ivory, and then this is just an old dress that we just clipped to the top. And then another piece of fabric, again, more textures that we're kind of building onto the set. And then here I added this element of more pearls, because pearls are very vintage and very relevant to this particular genre and era. So then we have our chandelier here, and then I added a drip of the pearls here as well. The other element that I added was this bird cage and some of these ostrich feathers in it to kind of really tie into the whole vintage theme and idea. And then we draped a little more fabric on the edge here, so we have some edge to our set, and we can shoot in that particular angle as well. The next element we wanted to include, always I like to include a piece of room, whether it's a chair or a stool or something like that. So we included this gorgeous vintage chair that Susan has here. And also on this, I added more drips of pearls to kind of add to that whole drippy pearly kind of feel for the Roaring 20s. And now let's talk about styling, because once we've got this set design and it's looking gorgeous, we knew we had to have Sarah styled in the same way. So first thing, we had a white wig, and a white wig kind of has that 20s kind of look to it. We wanted to kind of cut it short like a bob. We did our best with that. It's okay. And then, come stand up for us, Sarah. Thank you. And then we had this gorgeous, truly vintage 1930s ostrich feathery kind of sheer, which was perfect. Turn around first a little bit more, Sarah. And then we had this gorgeous corset, and I knew I wanted to do a corset for Sarah as well. She has such a lovely body, and I wanted to really accentuate her curves. And this particular color was perfect on this set. So that was the decision making and the choice I made for this particular outfit. And then she just has a regular ivory or nude color panty, which worked really great with this. The shoes, I include shoes. I think shoes are an important element in the styling of the client. So we found these really fun, what do we call those? What's that called when they're like
Cheetah.
that? Cheetah?
The cheetah.
It's a cheetah.
Meow.
Meow. Cougar. Meow. It worked, and mainly because the colors worked. The style of the shoe was true to that vintage and era, so that all kind of made sense. So you want every element and all the details that you put into the styling and the set design to kind of tie together into that fun kind of set design and idea and concept that you come up with. Okay, so we've incorporated the fun part into our set design, into our styling. So 1 and 2 are covered. The next thing we're getting is I wanted to get the lighting ready. So I talked a little bit earlier about having a fill light come up, a big strip, just kind of flood the area with some light so that we're not having shadowy areas on set. I want all the set to kind of pop. And then we have our big strip that has the directional light so we can kind of pay attention to the light on the face, the mask of the face that we talked about. Now, what we had to do in this room, because it is a room that has a lot of white, so we have white ceiling, we have white walls, we have a lot of reflection of light coming in here, and which is really good. But if you want to kind of take it to a different level as far as adding dimension and maybe incorporating that sexy element, that third word that she had in her 3 words, I wanted to incorporate sexy into it. I needed to have more demure, that's a word, demure lighting. So while we have a nice flood of light, I wanted to add some shadow and dimension. And the way that you do that is the black V flat. Yeah, say that 3 times fast. Black V flat. And the black will absorb the shadow and kind of add that shadow on the other side of the face. So now we're going to have a nice dimensionality in the lighting on her face and her body. So we'll have some depth and dimension to the shot, and it's not all flat. So that's how I decided I would incorporate sexy into the lighting pattern and how I decided to have the lighting set ready for her. Now the posing, that 4th element that we have as a photographer, and that was to create that beautiful S-curves, always looking for curvaceousness in her body. If she has a limb, you're going to bend it. Having straight is not what we're looking for. We want to have a nice curvaceous feminine line. So all of the posing and positioning I get her in is going to have her arms move. And you heard me talk to her about bending the elbow, bringing the arms around a little bit, twisting her torso a little bit, just all in an effort to get that beautiful line and curvaceousness to her so we can really accent that in the sexiness of the shot. Now, as far as being empowered, that is all ties it all together, because having her on set, continue to encourage her, letting her know she's doing everything right, and showing her some of the images from the back of the camera, that is empowering her and making her feel beautiful. So having said all those things, the fun, empowered and sexy, her FES were her 3 words. And then the 4 tools that we're utilizing as a photographer, the set design, the styling, the posing, and the lighting. I want to now turn it to Sarah and ask her if she did feel that she has accomplished that fun, empowered, and sexy through just this little bit that we had on set here for her today.
Absolutely. I had a lot of fun, and I feel very sexy in this outfit. And I absolutely will leave here feeling more empowered.
Awesome. That's what we're after, girls and boys. So thank you all for watching, and we're going to continue with more posing and lighting.